Let me start out by indicating the Police and Fire Commission last met on November 16th. And during that meeting, one of the things that we did was listen to a presentation from the fire chief as to his recommendations for promotion within the fire department. And after hearing his recommendation, we wholeheartedly agreed and effectively promoted firefighter Don Katowski to lieutenant and Lieutenant Brian Lupke to captain. So we're very happy for both of them and their families for this promotion, and we'd like to recognize them now. If we could give them a hand of applause. I would ask them to step up and be sworn by the village clerk. I think we're going to do that against the back of the Wisconsin flag.
Just a better area.
Okay, roll out.
I will abdicate the chair. Get out of here. Are they replacing that are open?
Yes.
People that left?
They're not new.
No,
Open, no new
I
positions.
moved up, so there's.
Oh, that bubble. Okay. Gotcha.
You have Scott, did you want to do it separately or together?
Do you have separate due to rank, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Lieutenant and captain.
let's do it separate.
Okay.
Thanks, Diane.
Oh, okay. Give it to him. Right, right. Okay, repeat after me. I, Brian Lupke,
I'm Brian Lupke.
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
solemnly swear that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin
and the state of Wisconsin
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as captain and member of the Port Edwards Fire Department
as captain and member of the Port Edwards Fire Department
of the Village of Port Edwards
of the Village of Port Edwards
under the appointment of the department
under the appointment of the department
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
Village of Port Edwards of Wood County,
Village of Port Edwards of Wood County,
to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
I, Don Katowski,
I, Don Katowski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Wisconsin
and the state of Wisconsin
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as lieutenant and member of the Port Edwards Fire Department
as lieutenant and member of the Port Edwards Fire Department
of the Village of Port Edwards
of the Village of Port Edwards
under the appointment of the department
under the appointment of the department
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
according to the laws of the state of Wisconsin,
Village of Port Edwards of Wood County,
Village of Port Edwards of Wood County,
to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
to the best of my skills and abilities, so help me God.
Okay.
If I could ask Jen and Amber to step up. Oh, we're gonna switch to the chief here for one. We're gonna pin on ceremoniously pin on the new stars.
Anybody notice that the oath that they have to give is twice as long as that of the president of the United States? It's 35 words for the president of the United States.
That's just about the same thing.
That's because they talk too much.
Oh, sorry.
Anytime?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. We're very happy to have you in leadership positions and we wish you good luck.
Oh, thank you. Tyler.
Mr. President, you want me to finish my report or wait until?
No, we can't do any official business. We have not sworn in or called the meeting to order yet.
Okay,
This is extracurricular activity.
I see.
I thought we were gonna do Ms. Tyler because of her.
What?
I thought we were gonna do.
That is officially on the agenda of the board meeting, and I would prefer to keep it there. We're talking about you, neighbor.
I know.
Everybody left. All righty. It is 7:04 PM and I will call the Port Edwards budget hearing meeting presentation to order. And I will determine that we do have a quorum of trustees. And the budget hearing is officially open now. And the meeting will be turned over to the village administrator as to such time that his presentation is completed. Then we will have public comment on the budget if there is any. And then, of course, that includes our trustees. Colonel, it's all yours.
So what you have in front of you there, and if you need a copy in the back, if you're interested, it's sitting on that table back there, budget 2022. Version 4, it's still saying final draft because we are still waiting for the end of year money or the end of year numbers. We still have a month of expenditures as well as some revenue to collect. Once that is finalized, then we will refresh some of the categories from 2021. And then in probably the January, no later than February FHR meeting timeframe, we will present you the finalized 2022 budget. No changes. It'll just reflect the actual expenditures of 2020. So that'll give you a very good guideline of what we spent for the past 4 years with what we're going to spend in 2022. There's no major changes from what you have been seeing in multiple meetings. At the end of the day, if I refer you to page, the task organization chart real quickly, number 8. That was a change since last we met, and it's really just an administrative change. The one that says citizens, judge, clerk. We just highlighted the difference that our judicial clerk and our assistant clerk are dual-hatted individual. And it shows a direct responsibility to the judge in her capacity there. But when she's not in a judge capacity, a judicial clerk capacity, she falls under the village administrator. That was the only adjustment we did. No changes there. This will now, since this has kind of been validated by the committee as well as the board at the committee of the whole, we will put this into our village documents as the updated task organization chart for the village, so everyone knows who falls under who and what happens. If you go to the revenue page of '18, I believe.
Yep.
Page 18 is the 2022 expected revenues. Again, this is a pretty firm number based on the latest data we've gotten from the external sources, i.e. the intergovernmental revenue and DOT and so on. What is shown but not included in the $2,699,000 is the ARPA and the grants that are either in the queue right now or will be issued to us next year. So that money, we know it's committed by other entities. Once it comes to us, that'll be a discussion for, obviously a grant for a specific reason, that'll come up. But the ARPA money will be the discussion next year, what we want to use the second tranche of the ARPA money. So that's your true picture of all the money coming into the village for next year. And again, just to be clear from the beginning, and I know the committees know this, I know the board knows this for citizens out there. This village is very transparent in our actions of what's coming in and what's going out. And we try to paint a picture holistically of all the pots of money, I'll call it. So you're not going to be bamboozled by, this is just the tax revenue. Oh, don't look over here, that's wastewater. Don't look over here, that's water. No, that's not the village picture. The village picture is everything. So you'll see on this page, all the money we as a village will get in next year from all our areas, to include our wastewater and our water utility. On the second page is an addition to that, and that's an additional 2 million. That's the rollover or reserve funds that we as a village, based on very strict fiscal responsible oversight, we will end the year with and roll into next year. So the true picture of the money for the village is in the $4.7 million range when you look at it that way. But that's a good chunk of reserves, untouchable money, emergency money, as well as some funds that have been built over the years for specific expenditures and so on. So that's the true picture of what the village is getting, 4.786 million. And now if you go to page,
Can I ask you a question, Bob?
yes, sir. Yeah.
So the fire contracts, those are included in charges for
They will be
service,
in,
or
yeah. I think they're under intergovernment.
that's just part of the 2.6 right there? right?
Yeah, it'd be in the first bulk of money. We don't peel those out separately. They're accounted for separately. Yes. If you go to page 24, that is the consolidated expenses for 2022. So that's your summary sheet by department. And then the percentage to the right of that is the percentage of the budget where all your expenditures are coming from. And then we do have an expenditure, a separate line item down the bottom there, Market Street repairs. That's a TIF money, TIF project. So again, that doesn't come out of any general fund or come out of tax revenue. That comes out of our TIF revenue that's building next door over a few years. So the true expenditures for the village is 3.6 million, 3.655 million actually. There is a difference. It's a very clear difference. We get in 4.7 million. We will spend the next year. We've obligated and committed 3.655 million. The difference there is basically those reserve funds and your TIF account that we are kind of hands off. So that is, again, fiscal responsible, that we as a village, we do not spend to the dime. We are not going to spend to the dime. We spend what we need, and then there's a bulk of money that continues to roll over, keeping our village very fiscally solvent for years to come. I will not go by department, but if you're interested, the data sheets on all your departments are in there. What I just mentioned at the very beginning, 2021 is the budgeted amount. That is not the actual. So that'll be the column that will be adjusted over the next few weeks. And that'll be the column that's updated to make this a final version 5 budget that we will revisit in 2 months once we get all the numbers accounted for. It will not change the 2022 column. It'll just give you a better picture of where our spending has been going. And it's pretty static over the years if you look at it. If you go to towards the back, I think the only thing else to highlight is our debt as a village. So just to make sure, there is some data there. Yes, sir. There is some, no, it's towards the back. Yeah,
Page
47, yes, sir. There is some data on the water department and our wastewater department. It just gives you some historical context here. But page 47 is our village debt. It's our TIF account. It shows where our TIF is going for the next few years till it ends in 2029. There will be some village discussions in the next few years here of what to do with the remaining 5 years of the TIF, how to maximize that for investment potential. And the way we're looking at how to do that, to take a loan against those 5 years, because we can't touch the TIF in the last 5 years of any TIF. You can't touch the funds that are in there, but many a fiscal tool is to take a loan against that money as it comes in. And then we as a village will look at what to do with that major loan of close to $2 million, which could impact a lot of road work, a lot of building upgrades and that type stuff, but that'll be a discussion for 2023. The next page is the village debt. So we did take out a loan to address our sanitation deficit. That is not the sanitation loan. That is not the hard structure loan that's out there. This was strictly to address a consistent negative number in our sanitation department, honestly tied to the loan. Once the loan gets paid off in a few years, there will be a positive there, but we did not want to continually go into a negative into the red on our sanitation, so that we approved a 10-year loan to address that, brings us to break even for the next few years. And then once we pay off the debt in total in 2025, our sanitation plant, our wastewater, will be very fiscally solvent and in the green, in the black, as well as with our water department. So that's a good thing. We do have still a loan on this building here. The renovation is done. And then we have a few more years left, well, 8.5 years left on our fire truck. And that'll kick the to another fire truck in about an 8-year time frame to finance that or figure out how we're going to pay for that. That is all the village debt. So 11% of our total village budget is assigned to debt service. We are allowed by state law close to $5.8 million of debt. We go nowhere near that. We're only utilizing about 29% debt, and that is a rarity for many municipal governments. Subject to any questions, that is a summary of our budget. The best thing, page 55, is what this budget will do in 2022. This will be the information that we will start putting out on our village website for all our citizens, as well as some of the other documents in here with revenue and expenses. All departments funded, no change in our weekly trash and services there. We will replace a half mile of village roadway, total rebuild. We will resurface, it says 1 mile, actually it's close to 3 miles if we do Port Road. So we'll be resurfacing up to 3 miles of village roadway. We are buying some equipment for our public works. We're investing in our parks. We're reducing our village debt by over $300,000. And we are investing in some life-saving equipment for our police and fire departments that'll keep them up to speed. And obviously, we'll be replacing a large amount of sidewalk, 400 linear feet. So there's a lot of tangibles that you're not just paying taxes and you don't see what's happening. You're going to pay taxes as well as we collect some other additional fees and get some money from the state. And there's going to be many tangibles across the village that, like you've seen in this year and last year, that we will continue to give due service to the money that's been entrusted to us. Any questions from the citizens, specific or general? Any questions from trustees? I think we're good. That's all I have.
Okay, hearing no further requests from civilians or the ward to speak further, I will declare. Better get my watch out. You got time. I will declare the public hearing closed, and we will just take a brief 1 or 2 minute pause before we go into our village board.
One on the phone line.
Oh yeah, I forgot to check.
So we got no one on Zoom, no one on the phone.
Hello.
We've got a lot of interest online, but
I'm not.
yeah, it's a little frustrating, but we'll see. I mean, whatever. Who knows? Sometimes we talk about just packing up and leaving. Well, you know, it's big and stuff. It's a lot of work for this whole guy. That's a great idea. Thank you. I will keep that in mind. Yeah, I will. Good. Well, I'd like to do it, but I can't do it as fast as I used to.
Okay, I will call the
Thank you. That's a great idea.
November 30th, 2021 Village Board meeting to order at 7:17 PM, 1917 for the village administrator. And I would ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Trustee Bingham,
Present.
trustee Duncan,
Here.
trustee Brendan. Here. Trustee Mansell. Here. Trustee Mitchell.
Here.
And trustee Saylor.
Here.
Okay, we are all present, and I would ask everyone now to please rise and face the flag as we pledge our allegiance to our country. I
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of meeting minutes from the 9 November 2021 board meeting and the vouchers, which are the bills and journal entries. I have a motion from trustee Duncan,
Second.
second by trustee Mitchell. Any discussion or anybody want to pull one of those two items off for further discussion? Hearing no request, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me. Then that motion carries. Public comments on agenda items. Anybody out there? No one requested to speak, but if you change your mind, I'll allow you to. You have anything to say? No, okey dokey. President's report. It's we're going to have a special recognition for Commissioner Patricia Tyler. She's been an integral part of the Village Police and Fire Commission for over 3 years. She has submitted her resignation from the commission effective 1 December 2021. I believe that is tomorrow. The village appreciates her efforts while on the commission and her dedication to the efforts to ensure we have a professional and effective public safety department. She is being recognized for her efforts and dedication to serving the village and is awarded an award. Chairman Stewart, front and center, please. Commissioner Tyler, if you please rise, and the chairman will be back to see you.
Yes.
Ed, on behalf of a grateful commission and village, we certainly appreciate all the work and dedication you've given. And in that vein, this Port Edwards collector's coin
It is a collector's coin, yes, sir.
is presented to you.
Okay, boss.
Pat, I've never known you. We've been neighbors for quite a while, and Sue can vouch for this, that it's time to hear a few words from you, as opposed to me doing something wrong in the neighborhood when you usually give a little speech.
Well, I'd like to thank Scott and you, Joe, and the trustees here for their faith in us as a group. It was a real learning experience for me because I'm the only one on the PFC that had no police experience and no fire experience. The most I've ever done illegally is shoot squirrels out of my kitchen window. So, you know, what can I
What's the
say?
statute of limitations?
You're west of the train tracks, you're all right.
So thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Pat.
Thank you.
Now I will submit the letter officially to the village clerk, who's the keeper of all such things, and I'm gonna miss you, but don't forget to put your garbage and recycles out of your garage tonight so I can take them off the curb.
Yes, I have already started.
Okay. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
On this note, the president makes his nominations, sends his nominee to fill the unexpired 3 months. That'll be of Commissioner Tyler's term. On the, I believe it's January 11th will be our next board meeting. That night I will submit my nomination to you for the board to approve. We've had 3 applicants, and Chairman Stewart, would you want to say anything about them beforehand?
No, I think all three are highly qualified, good citizens of this village, and I think we'd be lucky to have any one of them that you feel is the right pick.
Do you want to share who they are?
No,
It's public record. Okay. You mind if I?
no, not go ahead. Go ahead.
We have Andrea Weiland, who lives on Sampson Street in the village on the east side. And we have Pastor Corey, is it Schaefer? Sure. From the Trinity Lutheran Church. And we have a former firefighter for our agency and worked for the DNR Fire Suppression Unit for years, Juris Repsa. So it is my hope to get around and chat with them, all three of them, and then bring my nomination to you folks for approval in January. Yes, Leo?
I just add to your comment that in his capacity as the Coosa Ranger, Juris was also sworn in law enforcement. So he brings both hats to that table should you decide to pick him. He had arrest authority as a Coosa Ranger.
Okay, I will, I also have thought, but I'm kind of backing away from not making a nomination and leaving the seat open after talking with the chairman of the PFC. Because in April, when we have the reorganizational board meeting, that's when we officially, whoever fills Commissioner Tyler's seat starts their 5-year term. The 5-year term will not start in January. That'll only be for 3 months. And then we'll go through, the whole process in April. So. But I'm kind of away from that now because Boz pointed out some business that may be coming up that you guys probably want to be at full strength, so. Okay, that's all I have. Committee reports, committee of the whole. I have no comments, and so we'll go right in. Chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution 2021-9, affirming the right to clean water in the village and the commitment of the village to ensure it is maintained.
Moved.
Moved by trustee Duncan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Mansell. Boz, I would like you to just give another.
Yeah, so we discussed this at the committee of the whole. This is an effort that's happening across the county based on the April 2021 vote of the county to support a clean water resolution. This is our commitment that are advocating what we do as a village and have done for many years when it comes to clean water, from testing to the amount of energy and effort we put into our wastewater and our water plant and filtration and so on. So this is basically just affirming that we will continue and make sure it's funded appropriately and continue to be funded, so we can start assisting and getting assistance from the county on funds that are in the near future coming out to, it's not only assist in that effort, but to expand that effort across our village.
Any trustee wish to speak? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion to pass resolution 2109, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. The Airport Commission, we had no meeting. We are going to be meeting next Thursday, which will be the 9th, I believe. We'll be meeting over at Alexander Field. Police and Fire Commission, you guys met on 16 November 2021. Chairman Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. In addition to the fire department promotions, we also discussed at length some administrative things, and that has to do with more putting our policy and the village ordinances and the fire department's bylaws and policies and the police department policies all in sync. And it's an ongoing process, and we're working on that. And someday we may have some suggestions to tweak the village ordinances, so we're all on the same page on everything. The other thing that the fire chief brought forward to us was the progress on 2 entry-level firefighters. We had two applications recently. They went through a process. The fire department and their membership committee conducted interviews. Our PFC conducted an interview on one. There was another, the second candidate was disqualified and let go of the process. And we have one in the works still, and we anticipate possibly appointing a new firefighter at our next meeting on 12/6, I believe it is. And we'll receive a report from our fire department liaison, Thomas Guard, on how that interview went, who he conducted with the chief. Other than that, things are progressing. We did receive an application for a part-time police officer, but no current openings exist, so we'll file that and hang on to it. Other than that, we're progressing as normal, and our next meeting is 12/6, 5 o'clock.
Any questions for Chairman Stewart? Oh, okay. Turn the page here. We will go into Public Works and Chairman Bingham.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Director of Public Works, Ben Martinson, walked us through. Basically, it was the budget, but down more at 1,000-foot level instead of a 330,000-foot level. Capital improvement plan for roads and sanitation and water for the next 3 years. And then capital equipment purchase plan for 2022 through 2028, anticipating replacement of equipment that needs to be replaced. And I'm sitting here thinking, I can't remember. Ben, you're gonna have to help this old guy. Is it for bunker, we pushed back to 23?
Yeah, with the cut.
Yeah, okay. I had for bunker, then I had something else in my mind. But when we got all was said and done in the projects, we had to push back for bunker for a year. And then that'll be on probably number one or right up the top of the agenda for the following year. And then we got an update of phase 2 on the 3rd Street near Edwards Avenue project. Ben, again, can you just give us a sentence or two?
We're just gonna finish up. That'll be 3rd Street from north to
Yeah.
south, all the way through the village. Finished up.
We're moving forward, and that's a good thing. And as long as we got money, we'll keep moving forward. So that's all I have.
Ben, do you have anything from DPW? No, just that maybe can help us out and, remember to tell your neighbors and tell everybody else to try to keep cars and things off the road so that when plow season comes, we can do the best job we can, and garbage cans due on Wednesday, Those aren't on the road, we can get the roads cleaned up a lot better than having to leave snow away from your sidewalk. So pass it on when you see people to keep the roads clean so we can do a good job plowing, because that season's right here and we're getting ready for it, so.
Chief isn't here but Boz, when they changed that a couple of years ago, it went from 2A to 6A, no parking village streets, November 1 to end of March, is now midnight. And do you know if the chief has been having anybody go out and check before they go home, or? I know they only work till 11.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Parks and Recreation, Chairman Mansell, please. Oh, but by the way, now we have to come up with a new, I was thinking CPR committee, Cemetery, Parks and Recreation.
I think that
That's
an
a great
acronym's on
idea.
a life.
We met
I saw you
November
thinking that.
18th.
It's
We
coming.
talked about just proposed capital improvement plans for the parks. Trying to do a 5-year plan so we can kind of have an itinerary. We talked a lot about naming spaces in the village that are not named currently. We kind of have a list of things to do with that. I think we're gonna try to open it up to the public to see what their interest is and what their suggestions are. Business, talked about grants, about the kayak project again. And then the tree lighting ceremony is on the 8th, right? It's on the 8th out here. That's all we really did. Else, do you have anything to add?
No, that's it.
Any questions?
6 o'clock on the 8th.
What would it take to get the manhole cover on her bunker closest to Port Road named after?
That's probably the most.
I was thinking more the sanitation.
We do
plan
have a
myself.
wastewater plant that we can.
Okay.
Oh, that was really. Okay, Chairman Saylor, public safety, please.
We had a meeting on. Weeks ago. I don't think there was any new information that was brought out. I think we just finalized the budget and it was kind of short and sweet, so. We pretty much did everything that all the other committees were doing and just kind of finalized phase 2 or whatever we got out of the budget and call it good.
Okay,
And we did not have an FHR meeting.
Correct.
but we have some motions that you gotta take
Yep.
care of. Continue on, Chairman Saylor, now with your other hat, FHR, please.
Okay, so we have I'll make a motion to accept the village 2022 operating budget as presented.
Second,
We have a motion by Chairman Saylor, seconded by Trustee Duncan to accept the village 2022 operating budget as presented. Any discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
I would also like to make a motion to establish the 2022 Village of Port Edwards tax levy of $1,373,629.67 and a millage rate of 14.66 mils per $1,000 of house assessed valued effective on 1 January 2022.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Mitchell. Any discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion as read by Chairman Saylor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
That's it. We have a meeting and we do not have a meeting in December, so we'll meet again in January.
December 9th, right?
Not FHR.
No, not FH.
It's gonna be full.
Pit Committee, Chairman Duncan, please.
We will have a meeting on December 9th. That's it.
You are the guys that are gonna be.
That's the extent of it, because everything else was covered at the last village board meeting, so, and I'm not clairvoyant, so I cannot tell you what will take place there.
Okay, unfinished business from previous meetings.
I have an update for you, by the way.
What? Go ahead.
The, like 2 days after our village board meeting, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals upheld a Wood County Circuit Judge's opinion that dismissed a municipality that tried to challenge the placement of a sex offender within their confines, and said that the village or the township that raised it had no standing. So they had no ability to do anything at all.
Well, that's the way the statutes have read forever, pretty much.
That's exactly correct. So I just wanted to indicate that decision was issued like 2 days after our meeting. So
Thank you, sir, for the info.
that will not prevent us from continuing on with our other efforts. So,
Okay, good.
We're preparing for that for the pit committee, based on
Right.
that old business.
You want to take A and say anything on that?
Yeah, so I got, our legal counsel is focused on that discussion. This, obviously, that information will be included of options, if any, that the village would have. On the, where it stands right now side, working with the sheriff, probation and parole. Our chief is very read in and comfortable that, based on the standing rules of Wisconsin and the laws, that the individual is placed, he's being monitored, we're aware of him, he's reported his mandatory reporting to the village already. So everything is in order as best as we can in a monitoring status for that individual.
But I really appreciate, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think the first thing we're going to discuss is that we had some citizens here whose family was homeschooling. But because they're homeschooling, there's no registration of that. They don't have to declare it. They don't have to notify the school district. So that factor of consideration probably was never taken into account by the probation agent. So one of the things I'm going to propose next month is it's on a voluntary basis. If you're homeschooling and you want your homeschool to be considered for the purposes of determination for placement of a sexual offender, you can voluntarily notify the village and register as a homeschool. So that way then that information is available.
Excellent, excellent.
So.
That'll all be on your agenda for the night?
Correct.
Anything else? Okay, new business. Item A, discussion on the necessity of a record-keeping process for our social media accounts for freedom of information request compliance. Now, when you're born the year I was born, I don't understand a dang thing of what I just
Not
read.
a word what you just read. I got you.
So, Boz?
This will be more refined in the pit discussion since the IT falls under that. The village from legal counsel as well as League of Municipalities legal counsel was recommended that we look at the necessity for us to have some type of record keeping for people that post stuff on our village site, as well as if we have a Facebook page. Luckily, we don't have Twitter and all the other stuff, so we're really very refined. The difference that I initially came back to them, we do not use any of those platforms as dialogue. We use them as just posting information out. If individuals post on there, there's not going to be a reply from the village and a banter back and forth. So we are different than many other municipalities where they use it as a two-way discussion.
Additionally, it's social media. It's already open.
Duh.
All you have to do is look at it and you're in compliance with it.
Yes. Yeah.
So my
Their argument was people can delete stuff and then do a Freedom of Information Act request by us. And then if someone deleted stuff, we wouldn't be able to present all the data.
Tiara?
That's exactly what I was
So-
wondering, that aspect, if something was deleted.
But they're sending me some data. We'll discuss
All
it in the pit committee if it's something we need to entertain.
Damn lawyers.
We'll see how it goes. I just wanted you to be aware of it, in case anyone has any interest in it. It'll be at the pit committee on the agenda.
The next one, item B, just makes me furious that we even have to consider stuff like this. That's my political statement for the night. Update on the mandatory placement of election workers by political parties. I would turn that over to Diane and Bob.
Very quickly, so in the village administrator report, I gave you the verbatim from our legal counsel on this topic. A very long established Wisconsin law that's never been activated, it seems, but because of the very hostile environment, someone is using it, rightfully so, or they're allowed to, I should say, not rightfully so, but they're allowed to. So basically, the winning party in an election gets to pick the election workers for the next cycle. The other party gets to do the delta, the others, and what else?
Well, the winning party of the latest general election gets to have the majority of the election workers. So we have 5. So the Republican Party submitted 3 nominees. We have no choice but to put them on. So we also got one from the Democratic Party. So the only election worker coming back is Karen Thiel. And she is a chief election inspector. So unless it'd be the Democratic Party presents us with the, well, they're too late now. It had to be done by today. But unless they present a nominee who's qualified as the chief election inspector with the training, and they also have to live in the village. The other ones only have to live in Wood County. So the 3 Republicans do not live in the village. The Democratic nominee does. So everyone else was moved to the substitute list. That's why I'll have plenty of names for substitutes. So, and they don't have to have any training. They didn't have to be a poll worker before. I mean, they do have to have, I sent them to the Wisconsin Elections Commission to tell them to watch webinars and to look at the election day manual to sort of train themselves, and we'll see how it goes.
So I'll end up having calls going out because some poll worker is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and I'll be getting calls from Madison going, go take a look at this.
Yeah, they cannot express their political views at the polls. We'll just
Sure.
See how that goes.
That will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how that.
So we're complying, just so you're aware, we're complying. This would definitely be a discussion that if you want to entertain with any state reps or whatnot, because they're the ones that need to fix it. We can't fix it. So we're gonna comply. We're gonna try to do our best with trying to make sure they're trained. And all our standbys, our reserves will be kept at the best on a short string to fill any voids, because like Diane said, I mean, these people are not under our thumb here in the village where we can pick up a phone and call them and say, come in today. We're the ones we've had for many, many years are very dependable, reliable. We trust them. They're nonpartisan. So it's very interesting that this is happening, but it's happening all across the state. So just so be aware.
And it has been a law forever, and they have used it. Pittsville had some nominees a while ago, but as far as myself, the clerk before me and the clerk before her, this has never happened. So.
Will those names be provided?
Yep, in my motion,
All right.
we'll be approving them, hopefully.
And are we paying them just like a regular poll worker?
I'm gonna pass the gavel. I want to ask a resident where to start. Now, we're part-time employees, anything else, we're responsible for conduct and stuff like that, probably for civil litigation if they would do something really stupid as a poll worker. When these people just can come in, I mean, as they're doing under this old law, are we responsible for that? And I'm thinking as a cop, because there's a lot of sheriffs and chiefs of police that are gonna have issues over this. Hopefully only in the bigger cities, but this could be, Bad.
I think we need to potentially, I mean, I could look it up, but I'm not the village attorney, but there's gotta be a potential for removal. If somebody's violating their duties on that day, they can be removed and replaced.
Yeah, I did speak with the Wood County clerk, and he said to document anything, have the election workers who are working with, document anything, well, just be one, document anything that they're doing that isn't acceptable. And he actually did say Pittsville was able to get rid of one of theirs because they documented several things that they were doing.
And I mean, I don't hide it, but I'm on a particular political party team that with my cell phone, if there's an issue that comes in, somebody calls down to Madison and says there's something going on that shouldn't be, they call me, and I've had to run into the polling place in Wisconsin Rapids, and I've had to run into the polling place in Grand Rapids and shake my finger. And
without objection, I'll go off table. Mr. Thomas Guard, sir.
In regards, an inexperienced poll worker of any party or of any ilk, if an inexperienced person administering someone's ability to vote at the polls screws up somebody's ballot, does the voter have any recourse? If, for example, an inexperienced poll worker gives somebody coming in to vote incorrect advice about how to mark the ballot or where to put it or whatever administrative part, and they follow that advice and their vote is invalidated or can't be counted, what happens then?
I believe it becomes a provisional ballot, and I think you have a right to come down, and if there's a problem with it, be notified and come and fix your ballot.
Really?
I think, I mean,
Well, once it goes in the machine, if the machine takes it, it's
Yeah.
done, they're done.
that, but if it doesn't,
the machine will spit it back out and then the person will be able to, they get 3 chances.
I was thinking particularly in terms of somebody who is or is not properly registered to vote. Since that law has also been flip-flopped a bit.
That's where the provisional ballots would come in. Because if you claim you're registered and they're saying you're not, you're allowed to vote, but the vote is not necessarily logged. It's held as a provisional, and then there has to be a ruling by the elections office.
For example, if your ID does not list the address that's recorded in the polling book. Something like that, and they're told they can't vote. Or, I don't know, I'm just trying to, hypothesize what could happen if you get somebody who's not on top of it. So, all right.
Question for the board. When is our first election that's going to test us out?
The April election, and if there's a primary, it'll be February 15th, I think, yeah.
See you, Doug. We haven't had any training in a long time. Should we get our village attorney down here and to brief us on best practices?
Suppose if we leave them enough time to figure out what they are.
The village attorney does training for poll workers.
No, it's not training, it's just
No.
going to be to fill us in on all this.
All the legalese. So they do whole day seminars on this stuff.
No, okay, I'll forget the
So-
idea, but
I mean, we could have at least give us a primer on our obligations and duties.
And I think, like the county clerk said, you just document everything that you think,
okay. Report from village administrator.
Real short here. We're still tracking the COVID numbers. Yeah, there's been a slight spike, but still nothing that's going the route of any mandates or anything like that, at least within Wood County. No change in our employee status. We talked the budget, like I say, we have a couple $100,000 to spend in this month, so that'll be the remainder here. One note on the fire, and it's a great action. You've all heard the issues with Nakusa with their ambulance. You've heard the issues with Rapids and trying to find firefighters. So for us to have even interested parties wanting to continue to be a member, I applaud our fire department. And we're going to vet them appropriately so we don't get, inappropriate folks. But we got to keep those numbers strong to have our viable fire department. I applaud the folks that we're getting in, as well as recognizing the ones that have been there with appropriate promotion. So they're doing a good job.
That it?
That's it. The rest is your light reading for this whole thing about the whole clerk thing. And like I said, we're aware of it. We'll work with legal. Well, one good thing, they can't pick the election supervisors. They can just pick the minions, the workers. So having the election supervisors be trusted parties that Diane's aware of, that have been doing it for a while, that'll give us that layer of oversight to try to head off some of the issues that you guys have noted. And we will be very hard in the documentation phase as we go through the election process. We'll see. That's all.
Okay, where did I go here? Clerk treasurer, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the names in this motion a little bit. So I'd ask for a motion to appoint Karen Thiel, Robert Kukla Senior as the Democratic Party nominee, Julie Desjarlas, Michael Tim, and Mike Derry as the Republican Party nominees as the primary election workers, Becky Taylor and Kathy McGrath as the special voting deputies for Edgewater, and Becky Taylor, Joan Jesse, Kathy McGrath, Karen Isaacson, Nina Pilo, Kathy Dimka, Laura Vishinsky, Cheryl Stewart, Rita Eichstadt, and Carol Zerflu as substitute workers for the 2022-2023 elections.
Motion by,
So
Move second.
okay, motion by trustee Grundon, second by, I believe Sue beat you. Dana, she had her hand up first. Is there any discussion on this?
Darn.
Question,
John?
Are they required to be vaccinated?
We can require them to wear a mask, the election workers, not the voters, but. the
Well, no, I
election
know,
workers,
no, I mean the workers.
No,
So, but they have to wear a mask.
we can require them to.
Okay.
It's up to us,
Alright.
yeah.
They'll still use their plexiglass, I presume.
We'll have all those
Yeah.
safety measures in place for the next election.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for a motion to authorize the clerk to pay the bills for the remainder of the 2021 year.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Sailor, second by Duncan. Discussion. Oh, hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the village budget, the water utility budget, and the wastewater budget. And approval of the labor policy and the fee schedule, which isn't changing. Dated December 1st and effective January 1st of 2022.
Motion by. Motion by Mansell, second by Mitchell. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Trustee comments. I'm not gonna call on you because you were laughing at me for some reason.
I don't remember.
Go ahead, John.
No, I have a question for Diane. I'm always looking to expedite. To fill out the nomination papers, can we have people do it tonight and then date it tomorrow? Come on, look at this room. This
Can't
is,
start till
Wow.
midnight. You can start.
okay, so we're staying till midnight.
No, you're staying till midnight.
I knew that was the answer, but I was hoping. I hate doing that.
I would just like to thank the administrative staff, Boz, Diane, for working on the budget. Thanks for keeping the paper industry alive.
We only had a mill.
Yeah.
Okay, item 13. Boz, any highlights on the schedule? No, we're not having a FHR meeting,
Yeah, so
correct?
there's just two December meetings. We got public safety next Tuesday and the pit committee the next Thursday. That's it for your December meetings. And then I did roll all the way into January, just so confirmed. So you have your public safety the first week, followed by FHR and pit on the 6th. Our board meeting is the 11th. And I did highlight that we will have since we're not doing one December, Public Works and Parks will be the next rotation in January. They'll all be the regular times, they'll all be in person, there'll still be a Zoom option. And unless a chairman sees an issue, this will be the sheet that Diane prepares for tomorrow.
And if you have an issue, please notify Boz, but also me, so I know what's going on.
And just for clarification, the way I'm sending out a Zoom invite with a draft agenda. That is, I would hope, anyone on that email train, if there's an issue or an agenda item that they want to add, just please send it back and change it. Because otherwise, if I hear no comments from anyone to include a chairman, then that becomes your official agenda for the following week. So just be advised, that is a request by me and staff saying, hey, do you have any more input based on all the stuff I've gathered prior to that email going out? You're not going to offend me by saying add this, this, and this, because that's the way we need to do it. So that's it.
And I wholly support what Boz just said. That's the chairman's responsibility. Not his, not the village president, not any trustee. It's the chairman of the committee. So please heed his words. Anything else? I will declare this board meeting adjourned at 7:58 p.m.
See it.
You too. Good time to go home and go to bed.